Have you ever had someone say, "You haven't seen that movie?" Well, try having it happen like 17 times in a row. I got a new kitten and they're playing right in front of all my equipment. Okay, so if you hear them running around, I do apologize. For whatever reason, maybe I was too sheltered growing up, or maybe because I lived with someone that didn't want to watch new movies with me. But it is time for me to get cultured. I wanted to challenge myself to watch more movies, and these are movies that have been on my want to watch list for so long. I'm like, you know what? I need to just sit down and actually watch these movies and try to watch a movie every day. And I did this for a little over 2 weeks, and I got to about 17 movies before I had other things I needed to do. Feel free to roast me for not having seen these movies. I guess I don't have any excuses, honestly. And I guess I'll try to keep these as spoiler-free as possible, but again, most of them are like 20 to 30 years old at this point, so I'm sorry. And one thing to know about me before we get into it is there's a meme out there that's like, can you sit and watch a movie normally, or do you have to look up who that actor is that's in it? Because that's me. Especially if it's like an animated movie. Who is that person? I need to know like right this second. Okay, so starting off terribly, we have the movie Open Water. And yes, I did make cute little cards and pick out specific royalty-free music for every one of these. I thought Open Water was going to be a thrilling shark movie. I love a shark movie. I love shark. I love shark?
I love lamp.
I know a lot of like weird shark facts, but I could barely get through this movie. I barely got to the point where they're actually on the boat about to go off and like do their scuba diving excursion. It was filmed like a porno shot on a camcorder. Unwatchable. The acting was bad. I felt like I was watching home videos. It was just so strange. Like I checked Reddit, like wondering if this was the right movie, if there's another Open Water, because like this felt like it was like some really bad straight to DVD movie. And there's also a moment where the main female lead is laying on the bed with her tees out, and I'm just like, did I purchase the right film? Like I'm waiting for the music to start kicking in and for other things to start happening. It was just weird. Next we have a much better movie. It was Dune Part 1, and then I actually did watch Part 2 later on. Wow, okay. I know everyone has been talking about Dune and how amazing it is. I was like, fine, I'm finally gonna see it. I really thought that Dune was gonna be too far over my head. I love sci-fi. I love sci-fi and fantasy. I don't love like really high concept fantasy, but I really liked it. I loved the sandworms. I loved like the fist pounding on the sand. I thought that was so cool. The concept of using the voice, I thought that was so fun. I thought there would be more Zendaya in the first one, and I was sorely disappointed, but we saw her more in the second one at least. It was cool to see Timothée Chalamet in a role like that, and I thought that it would be distracting having him in it, but I thought he was actually very nice. In Dune Part 2, they had a moment of one of my favorite tropes when the guy kind of dives over the girl to protect her from like falling debris, and then she kind of looks at him like, I didn't need you to do this. Oh my god. I've seen people talk about this online about riding the freaking worms. They make this whole show of him like wrestling the worm, whole prestigious thing, and then an hour later into the movie, the pregnant mom and like all these people are just on the back of this worm, like riding into town like they're on a freaking trolley. Is this a freaking cruise ship, or are we docking at port? How are people getting on and off? I really liked his mom in the first one. I loved her character. Now I hate her in the second one, and obviously, I mean, she's going off the deep end. And also, I can't tell if power has gone to Paul's head or not, or if he's got this like bigger game to play. So I'm really excited about seeing the second one. Also, Chani deserves better. And then next we have Pearl. Wow. I would describe myself as someone that doesn't love horror movies, but as someone that doesn't love them, I have actually seen quite a lot of horror movies. This is my new kitten Boo. But I do really like horror movies that have more of like a thriller, psychological aspect to them, and I think Pearl really had that. Also, the ending, like the whole scene at the dinner table at the end, it was just so, just like sick, but in like the best way, which is a really weird concept to think is cool, I guess. I do love a good descent into madness, though, I will say. Female rage in this. And it was also refreshing to have a woman be like the killer, which isn't really giving away because it's kind of the whole plot of the movie. And now I understand why people are so obsessed with Mia Goth. I mean, she was phenomenal. Next movie I watched was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was good. It reminded me a lot of the book. I did read the book years ago. I actually have a 42 tattoo because when I first read that in the books and having this supercomputer spit out that the meaning of life is 42, it's nonsensical, it means whatever you want. I love that concept, so I got it tattooed on myself. It almost felt like I was reading the book again, and it was almost exactly how I pictured everything in the book. I didn't know Zooey Deschanel was in it, which is cool. It was cute, it was weird like the book is, so. And then we have Talk to Me. I did not expect to like this movie as much as I did. Again, it was a horror movie, and I was a little freaked out watching it alone, but it was really good. I hated the part with the younger brother in the living room when I hated that. Oh, like visceral, feeling. The ending was really cool. I thought that was a really clever way to end it. It was also just like a really refreshing concept for a horror movie. I've never seen anything kind of like that before. And it's Australian, and I don't think I've ever seen an Australian movie before. Then we have Charlie's Angels. Yes, I know, I haven't seen Charlie's Angels. I'm sorry. If I had to sum up this movie in one word, it is camp. Camp. Oh my gosh, it was delightful. The first scene is a bomb threat on a plane. So it's like, this is obviously very pre 9/11. And then LL Cool J opens the door on the plane and jumps out with the bomb guy. Drew Barrymore like takes off the mask and it's her. But my god, I don't think I've ever seen Drew Barrymore look that hot before. It was really fun. It was a really cute movie. It was action-packed, girl power, just all around a really fun watch. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this one, but the next one is Cars. I don't know why I never saw Cars. I am a huge Disney Pixar nerd. I love all of those movies. I've seen like every Disney movie ever made, except for I guess Cars. And I think in my head, because it's about cars, I was like, oh, I'm not like really into cars. And at the time when it came out, I was babysitting this little boy and he was really into it, and I was like, it's probably like a little boy's movie, like whatever. But it was so cute. Oh my gosh, the visuals were absolutely stunning. And I live in the Southwest, so it just felt like this homage to the Southwest in a way. I want to watch it again on like a bigger screen just to like see all the visuals again because they were stunning. A little bit predictable of like Lightning's arc. It was good to finally see the like ka-chow meme, so that was really fun. I do want to dive more into the Cars universe lore because their flies are cars. Where does it end? If you're born a tow truck, are you destined to be a tow truck? Can you change your car form? Like there are people who are little like pit stop cars. Are they just destined to be pit stop cars and work on the racetrack? That's kind of like what was going through my head at the time, so I don't know what that says about me. And then next we have Fantastic Mr. Fox. It was very Wes Anderson, very weird and plotless, classic Wes Anderson style. I was blown away by the stop motion. There was a part where one of the characters like blows smoke. How do you stop motion smoke? There were times where I was forgetting that I was watching a stop motion movie. There's a moment at the beginning where Fredricksen, what is his name? Christopherson jumps off of the branch into this pool. It's like super high, he's falling, this grand dive, and then there's like this tiniest little of water. I thought that was so clever. The guy that voiced Ash, I was like, where do I know him? So I had to look it up as I was watching. It played the guy in Parks and Rec who says like,
it's called Tears of My Blowhole,
which is like one of my favorite Parks and Recs moments just ever. So, and then we have The Matrix. Yep, I saw The Matrix. Okay, I can see how for 1999 this movie was mind-blowing. It's just not my favorite genre. I don't like gratuitous violence. I don't like a lot of gun violence in movies. I don't like how there's a lot of romanticizing of gun violence in movies. There is a part where Neo and Trinity are going through like security or something, and they just like whip out these machine guns and just start like blowing down all these security guns. I will say the like hyper stylized thing was really cool. Obviously like the backwards slow-mo thing is cool. I like the concept. I can see how people were mad about Inception because it reminded me a lot of about Inception, because I have seen Inception first, okay? Don't get mad at me. I get it. The Matrix did it first. I get it. I really did like that concept of almost like we're going under into the dream state in order to like fight into the Matrix. I thought that was cool. And then I watched The Help. This movie was so sweet, so heartbreaking. Oh my gosh, when the little girl is like, "You my real mom, A.D." Oh my god, child. I have never wanted to punch Bryce Dallas Howard in the face more than watching this movie. It was really interesting to see the post-slavery in the midst of civil rights. Black people, black women are essentially still treated as slaves. They're still not getting paid what they should, and they're just being like completely mistreated. I think that's a part of American history that we were never taught. Like the traditional American school systems, you don't get taught that like it was, oh, slavery ended and everything was great and fine. This day-to-day life, slavery was not that long ago, and we're still trying to process that and like get out of it. So I just thought that was really interesting to see, and like having to use their own toilets, like just like the dehumanization was just gut-wrenching and so hard to watch. But I am really glad that I saw this movie. It was really good. And again, I think a lot of people are going to be mad at me for this one, but next is Coraline. This movie is for kids? This movie was terrifying. It was very Tim Burton, which I like Tim Burton stuff. Doesn't like to cast anyone of color, but you know. The mom was voiced by Terry Hatchett, and all I can think of is just her from Spy Kids. I was also really happy to see some positive black cat representation. That was wonderful. I feel like a lot of times in movies, black cats are seen as like evil or spooky or bad luck, obviously, but it was so nice to see this cat was like almost like a protagonist. It was wonderful. Also, the cat was voiced by Keith David, who plays the Shadow Man in The Princess and the Frog. In my head, I just kept hearing, yes. Dun, 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 dun. The next movie I watched was Peter Pan 2003. I know. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I know every girl around my age was obsessed with Jeremy Sumpter. That was their like, sexual awakening. But I just never saw this movie. I think I might have seen it in bits and pieces here and there at points, but never the whole thing all the way through. The two best things of this movie were the score. James Newton Howard did not have to go that hard. And Jason Isaacs as Hook. Damn, that man in a curly brown wig with tattoos. That was a very different vibe from, "You lost me, my servant." And then also I really liked the brief moment with the mermaids. I needed more mermaids. They were there for like a total of like 20 seconds max. The next movie I saw was Enola Holms. On paper, this movie should be like my perfect movie. It has Victorian England, Henry Cavill, Millie Bobby Brown, Henry Cavill, but it just felt a little too convenient that every single skill that she needed to have, she had happened to have learned from her mom, like, as a child or whatever. And I was like, okay, it's fine. But it was cute. Waiting for the AC to stop, 'cause it's loud. Chicka, yeah. There it is. I would like to watch this again at some point, just for the visuals of the house and the bustling Victorian London streets. It was just, I could sit and like watch that all day. The next movie is Death Becomes Her. This is a little bit of an older movie. It was recommended to me like years ago, and it had always been on my list, and then it was free on YouTube, so I was like, well, I know what I'm doing today. Very, very camp. It was like 80s Frankenstein castle vibes. Very, very funny. There's a moment when Meryl Streep is about to fall down the stairs, and she's balancing on the edge of the stairs like, help, hurry. And all of a sudden it's like, hurry up, you wimp! I was just dying laughing. Like, I just thought that was so funny. I love the idea of them having to constantly paint themselves dead, so they have to like keep painting on their like skin tone and stuff. And just like the references to like The Living Dead in Beverly Hills. Like, I just thought that was funny. There are some really, really stellar one-liners in this movie. I don't know how this movie isn't more popular or more like meme-ified, because it was just great. The next movie I saw was Romi and Michelle's High School Reunion. One of the really distracting things about this movie was Mira Sorvino's like Californian accent or something.
Then why don't you just give us 2 burgers and fries and Diet Cokes because we're in a hurry?
Yo, Michelle. Like, it was like she was deepening. It was odd. It was so 90s. Very silly and like camp and goofy. Good girls movie. Quite a few mentions of weight loss, which again, reflective of the time. I think it's great that we've come such a long way from that kind of mindset. And I was also laughing because at the very beginning opening shot, it's like a drone shot of their apartment, and it's like facing Venice Beach, on Venice Beach, like waterfront apartment, and one of them is unemployed and somehow they're living there. They're like driving their convertible like on the boardwalk. It's one of those things that's like, oh, that's just how California is, but then like if you've actually been there, you know, like that's not actually how it works. I would say this movie was not one of the favorites on the list, but it was still cute. It was fine. The last movie I have is Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. Peter B. Parker was doing something for me. I don't know if it was because he was voiced by Jake Johnson or what, but like a little grungy, a little washed up, a little scruffy. There's a part where the multiverse is kind of breaking through our current reality, and all of a sudden this like weird sculpture kind of like appears, and it's really quiet, but if you have the subtitles on you can hear it, but someone goes, I think it's a Banksy. And I just thought that was so funny. This was so refreshing. It was a really well done Spider-Man origin story with like a more diversity thrown in there, and it was also using the multiverse kind of concept in a cool way. I know this was done in 2018. I just think a lot of multiverse things have become more sterile over the years. So, like, everyone's doing multiverse stuff, like Everything Everywhere All at Once and like Ant-Man. Great animation. I know people were talking about how this movie is animated on the twos, which is, if you know what that means, you know what it means. That was really fun. It felt like a comic book come to life. Would love to see more animation in this style and almost mixing the styles within the style. It's almost like half tone at one point and then more detailed than others, and I just thought it was really, really cool. So those are all the movies that I have right now. If you like this kind of video, give it a thumbs up so that I know to make more videos like this. Hit that subscribe if you feel like it. I'm not making you, no one's making you, feel free. It's right there, I don't know. I am a huge movie, film, TV buff, so I would love to talk more about movies and TV and film. So if you like that, stick around for the ride and maybe we'll do some more. Because I have a lot more movies to watch in order to be fully cultured, become a fully formed human being that has seen the movies that I need to be seeing. Also, if there are some other movies that you think are like a must watch that maybe I haven't seen, put them in the comments and maybe I'll add them to the list for next time. That's all I have. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.